All right, welcome. Episode 9, Nove Nueve.
Wow, 9 already.
Oz. 9 already. You know what's funny? I was talking to Adam earlier this morning before you guys got here, and I was like, the idea back in January was we were going to do these bi-monthly, or right? So two a month.
Yeah.
So in theory, this should be probably 18 or 20, and we're on 9. So we're a little bit slow.
We're a little behind.
We're a little behind. I know.
We've been a little busy and all over the place.
You've been all over. You've been fucking. I think well, can't worry about being demonetized when you have no monetization anyway. So.
Yeah.
No, you did. You were up. That was a cool trip you did. Croatia.
Well, yeah. No, I went to Croatia, and then I ended up in Greenland with there are these guys in Nashville that are pretty interesting group of gentlemen. One of them former mayor, and so they put together these trips that they get enough people, then it's like going on a trip to Knoxville. You know what I mean? Like from a cost standpoint. So I was like, okay, yeah, where are you going this time? To Greenland. So I was like, okay. So we went there, and you landed in Greenland.
I couldn't even there's a globe there. I couldn't find it on the globe.
This is okay. So this is on
That's fine.
This is on the eastern part of Greenland, which most of the populace is on the western part of Greenland. Just because there's less ice there on that side. So when you land in, it's like landing into Mars. I mean, you land on a packed dirt runway. There's a lot of Inuits that are over there, So then we're supposed to go on this boat. Not a fancy boat. It's like you had a roommate and a bunkmate, and literally our room is the width of here.
Yeah.
And you have two people couldn't go in there at the same time. So it's it's not glamorous. You're just there to be there and sail around, and then we didn't see that much wildlife because, a lot of these, the Inuits, they're killing a lot of the wildlife, and just, this is what their culture did. And so it's kind of a little bit sad that you don't see that much wildlife. But you see a lot of icebergs. So it's almost I felt like I was, seven years old again, opening a bunch of meerschaum pipes. So this one looks like a bird, a cloud. I'm yeah, that looks like a meerschaum pipe.
That's a fascinating trip, though. And then the antithesis of it is you went in Texas or something like that. You go from Greenland to I don't know, somewhere in Texas.
I was in Fort Worth.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, which Fort Worth is actually, Fort Worth is very nice part of Texas. Actually on the front end, I was in Houston, Texas, before I went there. Which also Houston's a really happening, been hot city with
good cigar culture.
Yeah, amazing cigar culture. Yeah. One of the best in the country right now. So it's great. And La Vereda, that's been on fire. It's been great.
Knock on wood. Yeah, no, it's good. It's we just started shipping it August the 8th, and we're taping this today on October the 2nd, so it hasn't even been out 2 full months, and seeing reorders and seeing a lot of retailers trying to get on board with it. So it's good. I'm very happy with that. But it's kind of like anything else, the dishes are done with that one. So we're already looking at March of 24 for the next PCA release. Hard to believe, but the clock's ticking on that. So yeah, it's interesting. It'll be interesting because when they moved the PCA from the traditional July back to March, everybody's like, yeah, that sounds great, whatever. But the people on this side of the fence that have to do product development, all of a sudden your timeline just got moved back another 3-4 months. So it's a bit more challenging this coming year, but I think we'll be okay.
I think it makes logical sense though, because nowadays most people when they're consuming cigars, smoking cigars, you want the weather to be nice so you can be outside. And so typically January, February, March are, unless you're in Arizona or Florida or some parts of Texas, the weather's not as constant.
I think what's good about March is that it'll enable us or everybody in the industry to get another 1 or 2 more turns on the new products, as long as you can get it out in time but I think you're going to see a lot of releasing in March, shipping in July, August, September sometimes, I think. But I think we're going to be okay.
But I see a lot of Lost Angel being shipped out now.
Yeah, the TAA exclusive. There's a good example. We announced that in April at the TAA show, and we're just now shipping it in October, September, October. We just started shipping it last week.
How many different kind of TAA iterations have there been?
Oh gosh, so we've done one every year since 14. 14 was the first year they asked us to do.
14. So quite a while.
Yeah. Except for the COVID years or whatever when they canceled the TAA, but we've had one every year for the TAA.
So have they always been like kind of an angel sort of theme? Or
it started off. It was called the Angel's Anvil because I created this story about it, and the acronym was TAA, and there was a whole story that I wrote for it and everything. And then
the Angel's Anvil, TAA.
Yeah, correct.
Makes sense.
But there's a story about the angel falling and losing his wings, and it was like too much cough syrup one night probably, and I came up with the story. But at any rate, so we wanted to switch it up a couple of 2, 3 years ago, and we were going to call it the Fallen Angel, because I thought this would be a kind of a cool like spin off of it, you know what I mean? And I got the idea off a Graham Parsons T-shirt. Long story, but it was a T-shirt Graham Parsons wore. It said the Fallen Angels, or whatever. And so we announced it, and then I got an email from somebody at one of the larger cigar, let's say one of the big box guys, online guys, saying, "Hey, we have that name already, but if you want to use it, just give us $1 for every cigar and anything." I'm like, "Hey, how about you go fuck yourself?" And I changed it to. The Lost Angel.
So you were politically correct.
100%. Yeah. I was like, yeah. So I'd rather fucking.
So what did you change it to?
It's the Lost Angel. So now it's the Lost Angel. So we're at that right now.
Would there be like, what if the Lost Angel was? Could you say the Mindful Angel?
Yeah. At some point, yeah. Who knows? Yeah. It's kind of.
What's that blend?
God, we started that one. We started that one so long ago, it's hard for me to remember 100%, but I'm pretty sure it was the Ecuador Sumacho wrapper. But it was this dark wrapper that Ernie had turned me on to last year. And I said, we're going to use this for the TA exclusive. And then I think there's a little bit of Dominican in the filler and Nicaraguan binder. I have to go back and actually look at my notes because we literally came up with a blend at the end of last year, probably. So it's almost like a year ago. It's been forever. And actually the production, one of the good things about that cigar is that the production was actually finished before the trade show, before the PCA. But it was nearly finished, by 80%. And we said, okay, just stop production on that. We're going to focus on LV, on Lavaretta. And so then once the Lavaretta got up to speed, then we said, okay, let's finish up the TA. That's why it's a little bit delayed. That's why we're going in October already, still shipping it out. But better late than never. It's all good. So we're excited about it.
But you've been doing these trainings with like some of the talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we've been doing LV trainings. Lavaretta, Miguel Shadell, our national sales manager.
Yeah,
shout out Miguel.
Awesome.
Came up with the idea of let's do these Zooms and take advantage of Zoom.
Because people aren't tired of them.
When you say people, right here, I'm like, oh, here we go, man. I'm like, yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. So you do these.
So
Zooms.
We do them, and
people do still Zoom. I mean, I was on a board of some sort of board. I guess it's good if you're on a board because then you can like just instead of showing up in person, you can just do a Zoom. But anyway, okay. So you're doing these. Sorry,
let me frame it this way. So when the pandemic started, like in April of 2020, we literally collectively Zoomed every single day throughout the pandemic. And only like probably 3 months ago, we stopped doing them daily. But so I've had
you're zoomed out.
I've had a few Zooms, but now we're doing them for retailers. Like we set up times and we send out emails. Anybody that wants to jump in, Miguel and I basically walk through the specifics. I talk about the timeline of the product development, the different tobaccos, what makes it unique, why it's special. Miguel talks about it from a sales standpoint. They've been very effective. We've had some good people. We've had Craig Cass on there. We've had Gary Pesh.
Yeah.
We had Paul from Atlantic. We've had a good roster on there.
That's good.
So it's been fun. It's been a good way to actually utilize Zoom instead of just sitting in there and staring at everybody.
Well, it's good for retailer engagement. Speaking of which, I found some nostalgia that I wanted to show here. Can you see it, Cole?
You know,
This
you
is-
know how I know that's so old? Is because it still says C period, A
Dot.
period, O period.
In wide Latin font that anybody
wide
could
Latin
just like knock
that
off.
we nicked off for the first
So-
anniversary of Maduro.
Yeah, so I was in the basement of my parents' home and I found this on the shelf, like literally the spine. So I had to grab it just because. And also, look, there's the Concord over here. Look, you might have a glare here, Cole. So Concord and the QE2.
Both of which they're so old that half the viewers are going to watch this are going to go, "What the fuck's the Concord?"
But the
and
Concord
QE2?"
was complete badass. I mean,
It
like,
was.
you know, right?
It was.
I mean,
But I mean, it's a ghost now.
and the irony is, who won it was a Corona cigar. Jeff and Tanya, who I'm actually going to go down there and do an event with them, like, you know, in December.
Yep.
Beginning of December. But then we were talking about this before, because this is like classic, like, well, my father being in Asia, I want to put number 1, period. Number 2, period. But you remember the first one.
I remember the acronym
Dreams,
like it
what
was
stood
yesterday.
for?
It's displays, realize excellence, and multiply sales.
That's good.
I came up with the
because
acronym.
my kid is now wanting to
I was
apply.
big on acronyms even back then.
Yeah,
so,
he's wanting to apply to business school, so this is good. I'm going to show him this tonight.
And
So
he'll be
anyway,
like, who came up with that? It's like
So-
so simple. It's
and
like,
then I remember, like it says, CAO International Inc., the Cigar Architects.
you know who came up with that? I came up with that, but I ran it by George Brightman.
Dude,
And George Brightman was all.
get
He's like,
this.
that's exactly what you got to. That's exactly what you got to use.
He did it like this. He was like,
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah. Probably so. Something very similar to that. Nothing's
There he would
changed.
balloon his upper lip when he would like have the cigar.
Nothing has changed in like 30 years.
Okay, so he approved of it. Dude, I love Cigar Architects.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then win a dream vacation for 2. That include faster than the speed of sound from New York to
More
London
powerful than us.
aboard the Concorde. Do you know the significance? Anyway, next. 2. FYI. What is it? Stay. Stay, all caps. 3 nights
Fly, stay.
at a luxury hotel in London.
As opposed to flying there and coming right back, you will stay. Actually, yeah.
No, actually, Jeff and Tanya said
Oh,
they
you do
stayed in a
return.
nice
There
hotel.
it is. Fly,
A
stay,
return.
return.
Do not stay forever.
Yeah.
It is expensive in New
Oh
York.
my God.
First class, above the Queen Elizabeth II,
Yeah.
for 7 days, 6 nights. No Dramamine included. It's simple.
And there it is.
So then-
Display and then realize excellence, multiply sales.
Yeah, but then like all of the accounts that did it
Yep.
are listed here.
That's
Who
pretty
did,
cool.
Who did this? Do you know? Nancy.
No, I don't even think Nancy was with us at that
I
time.
don't know who would have done this.
This
but
is
I mean-
this is probably circa 97.
But look at this. So
98
the
maybe?
winner. This is Corona.
You did a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, you can tell what
but-
year it was because of the brands that were out. So Brasilia is in there. So
Yeah.
Brasilia was like 2000, I think.
Look at the hats, by the way. You were designing the hats back then
Yeah,
too.
it was.
But then this is funny. These are some Polaroids. Just tells you the
Oh
time.
my God.
Like, would anybody do a Polaroid now?
No,
way. They would
no.
just post it. But this is like
Good
Jeff
Lord.
said. Jeff said, "Get your CR." Oh yeah, we had these CRS displays.
Cigars ready to smoke.
Cigars ready to smoke.
Yes.
This one I love. Send me to London, JB.
You got to take this back down with you in December. You got to show it to him. He'll get a kick out of it.
Happy CAO customer, dude, with the mustache.
Oh my God. This is
So-
so old.
Oh yeah, man. But look at this one. This one is pretty damn good. Look at this. That's like the
It's
freaking
like a London
that's
Bridge.
London Bridge.
Yeah. Who did that?
Does
it say?
who did that? Actually, I thought that was who did the London Bridge.
What did the runner-up get? Like a set of steak knives
This
or
had
something?
to have been the runner-up.
A fine quality steak knife set for the runner-up.
Okay, here it is. Here it is. The Havana Room in Fairport, New York. William B. Darren. But look at that. I mean, look, did you see like even the drawbridge? Like these open and close.
That's pretty creative.
That's pretty creative.
Yeah.
You know, so that one is, I think that might have been second place. But then look, here's some like old school stuff.
I see Criollo, Brasilia.
We had the 65th anniversary. We had the pipe display.
Yeah.
with again the
C period, A
elegant,
period,
the
wide
elegant,
Latin.
letters.
So this is pre-Lisa Crone. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So this can't be any
And then-
further than 2000 probably.
And then you got to love this one. This one is the one with the stuffed animal inside the box.
Why?
This is
That's kind of like why.
Otimba Cigar, Powell, Ohio. Yeah, part of these you look through them and you're like,
Part of those you kind of go, are
they
these guys
still
still?
around?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at it.
Let's just throw a random stuffed animal.
This
Let's
is the
throw
guy.
Nothing
Did he-
says cigars like a stuffed dog.
Did the guy go to like a theme park? Did he go to Six Flags? And he's like, "Hey, I won." He like threw a
This
softball
is why.
and knocked over milk bottles. I got a stuffed dog.
Yeah,
This would be a great dog with a cigar in its mouth.
that should win. Pack your bags. We're going on the QE
We're
too.
going on the QE2, kid.
I got it.
This is
I got it. Stuffed animal. That's a surefire winner.
Tobacco shop of Ridgewood. Well, they're still around.
That's still around, yeah.
Ridgewood, New
They're
Jersey.
TAA.
I mean,
They're TAA.
that's elegant.
That's nice.
Elegant display.
Nicely done.
That's it. Gary
He's still around.
Colser.
Yeah. He's always got a pipe in his mouth to this day.
Yeah, I met him. He's
Mm-hmm.
a great guy. And then this one is Windsor Cigar Company, Princeton, New Jersey.
Huh.
I want you to try a CAO cigar.
Oh.
But anyway, it's fun to look into these. It's funny. You remember Rich Pink?
God,
I'm
yes,
not sure.
I do
like,
remember
this-
Rich Pink.
Rich, he's a great guy.
Smoker's
Look, I love
Delight,
this. This is
Union, New
like- so-
Jersey. Am I right?
Yeah, so
God, how did I?
Yeah, but
that's
look.
a throwback.
I mean, this looks like
remember
it's
that.
almost at his home because he's got like these like stockings
And I
here.
remember doing that extreme poster
and it says
too.
Tim, Eileen, John O, and John H.
And John H. Hey, I made the mantelpiece.
You made the mantle.
All right, good.
Mickey didn't.
All right.
Davidas Cigars. They're still around.
Yep.
So anyway, this is kind of like
That's
I thought it would be
interesting.
kind of fun nostalgia.
It's
to-
literally like a photo album. I mean, nowadays, I wonder what. It was actually. I think it was a little ahead of its time. I think it was actually a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about like this was interesting. So they use the box lids to make
Yep. Bells.
CAO.
Cincinnati, right?
Bells in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
So
amazing. I
anyway.
couldn't tell you what I had for dinner 3 nights ago, but I could remember like Rich Pink, Smoker's Delight, Union, New Jersey, Bells, Cincinnati, Ohio, from 20 some odd years ago.
Look at this one. This is
Good
like these
Lord.
old school. Remember these CAO ringer shirts?
Yep, I do remember those.
Do you have any of those?
Heck no.
I found some the other day.
No.
Anyway, I thought this would be kind of a fun thing to grab just
That
to
is
see.
fun. That's interesting.
And then there's like somebody is like, yeah, I'll make a big gigantic CAO and slap it onto you. That's the only thing you did
wow.
with the display.
Uh,
That's funny.
Hey, you got to take that back to Jeff B and see what he says about that.
I'm totally going to take this back to Jeff B. We
Yeah.
always talk about it anyway because
Yeah.
he has all these stories about
God, it's funny because when you showed me that, I immediately remembered the acronym. But the
Oh, you
contest,
did?
that was pretty baller. I mean, considering when you think about it, I mean, we were still on the come up. We were still growing at that point. I think that had to be like 2001, maybe 1, 2, early 2000s. It was before Condor. It was before Mickey.
We need to do it again.
It was like, yeah. What do you? I mean, there is no.
We're gonna
Concord.
we're gonna the winners stay at Mike Condor's house.
I like that. I
He's
like
gonna be
that.
watching this saying, not a good idea.
Yeah. He doesn't watch this though. I got news for you. So
he doesn't watch it, no.
He's like, "Oh, you guys doing a podcast? Oh, that's nice. Really? When did that happen? February we started. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just tell him that we have like Brooks Koepka or somebody on here, and then he might watch it.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
I'm on the putting green anyway, so.
That's like the standing joke on Friday. Like I was trying to get hold of him Friday, and I texted him. I said, "Are you available?" All I got was an emoji of like a putting green thing, the little flag with
Yeah, right.
I was like, "Yeah, all right, Monday." Have a good one. And it's like, don't even front.
Oh, that's
Oh,
funny.
that's good stuff.
That is good. I figured we'd bring it. I mean, but we're talking about engagement, right? Because we were talking about you being on the Zoom. That's it. That's
Yeah.
engagement.
Imagine
This is
how much
engagement.
the industry has changed. We've gone from like display contests and Polaroids to like Zooms and Instagram and all the social media and all of the instantaneous stuff. It's crazy how things have changed so rapidly over, I guess, 25 years or something. I mean, it makes it sound old. Wow. It's crazy. This is before your time. You weren't even born, Cole.
2000.
You weren't even born.
I was born in 2000, yeah.
You might have been born right about that time. I don't know. Jeez, that's crazy, dude. That's insane.
So did you have any interesting questions to throw at us from our last kind of?
I got 4 or 5. So, first one is, what's your experience working with different like cigar manufacturers?
You want to go
I've
first?
been all over the board, man. I mean, jeez. Everybody's got their own style and their own way of doing things, their own way of processing tobacco, their own way of storing tobacco, all that kind of stuff. It's just everybody's got their little ins and outs. I'll give you a for instance. Like you work with like my father in Esteli, Nicaragua, and everything is pretty much, all you got to do is supply the band because they got a box factory, they got the tobaccos, they're growing and everything. So you don't really have to sort out a lot of things. And then you work with somebody like TLA, like Ernesto, and then you've got to supply the box, the band, they'll source the tobaccos and all that. So there's a lot more moving pieces with Ernie as opposed to like the Garcias. That's one example. But everybody's got their, it's not like the same thing from house to house. It's all a little bit different, I always tell a story about walking into my father's cold room, their storing room, and seeing all the cigars vertical. And because you go into that room, and usually my experience was like everything's in newspaper and the wheels are all like facing horizontal. And then when I walked in there in 2014, they were all vertical. And I asked Hyman, like, why is that? Aren't they supposed to be horizontal? He's like, no, think about it. He goes, you're trying to dissipate all the bad stuff, the ammonia and everything and all the impurities out of the tobacco. If you have them horizontally, gravity's going to make them go to the bottom half of the cigar. If you do it vertically, they dissipate out the foot of the cigar. I'm like, brilliant, little things like that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we dealt with Ernesto Plasencia, made our first CAO cigar back in '94, and then we went to, actually in Honduras. Then we went to his factory in Nicaragua. Then we worked with Douglas Peringer in Costa Rica in the duty-free zone over there.
For 9 months.
Yeah, and then we went from there to Tabacalera Perdomo, and at the same time, we were getting cigars produced at a new, smaller factory by Fidel Olivas with the Tiranos. Then we're working with La Aurora to make our flavors by CAO. So a lot of different factories. I mean, the most important thing really is the relationship that you have with whoever's making the cigar. Because I tell people all the time is that like you can draw up a contract here in the U.S., but I mean you can't enforce it in Central America if somebody violates the contract, because I mean the laws that may govern that contract or in the U.S. that doesn't apply in Nicaragua, for example. So I mean a lot of it has to be done like on a handshake deal.
Yeah.
So really it's trust in who is your partner, what are their morals and values and their business ethics and how they want to conduct their business, and who they are as people. It's
a huge part of it.
Super important,
Huge part of it.
And how you kind of, do you respect one another at the end of the day? Because if you don't, I mean, it could show up, at the wrong time, and then you're.
Well, that's
you're in
like
trouble.
you just mentioned it in Costa Rica, Peringer.
Oh yeah.
Tambor.
That's right.
I mean, that's a perfect example. I mean, we were rolling really good. I mean, that cigar put CAO on the map back in '96 or '98 rather, and then I remember one day, like on Monday, we walked into the office, and John. This is when people still use fax machines, and John had gotten a fax letter from Douglas Peringer, basically saying, "Can't do it anymore. You're done. We're not going to make." And we were just like, "Now what?" I'll never forget that. Like 9 months into it. And we were actually like feeling really good about things. And all of a sudden it was like, sorry. And that was just it.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was it. That was the end of it.
Well, but also it's an opportunity when stuff like that happens is that, you got to be able to like remember that stuff and learn from it. As you remember when Crowned Heads was first kind of starting, we'd had like these loose kind of dialogues just over a cigar as to like, what are our lessons learned and what's the most important traits and qualities. And Remember, we ranked like number one being Trust.
Definitely.
I mean, it didn't have to do with like what cigar is making, hot cigars right now,
Yeah, to the
or
contrary.
you know what I
Actually,
mean?
it's almost like we didn't want to be in a place where we were like eighth in line. We wanted to be somewhere kind of new where we can develop our own identity. That's why one of the
Yeah.
reasons we went with Ernesto, because trust, number one, and then number two, he wasn't doing any contract brands for anybody back in
Yeah.
2011. He had just started EPC Cigar in 2009, so
Yeah,
wanted to get the ground floor.
that's right. That's right.
Another question?
What's your favorite cigar lounge or place to go visit?
Crowned Heads. Here I am. This is it for me.
I like to travel around and visit different places, and like you're saying, what may have been something like 20 years ago might be different now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for example, we didn't have Casa de Monte Cristos like that long ago. Now we
Yeah.
have them. I mean, not to like butter up Jeff and Corona, but I mean, I always thought Corona cigars and what he did, even from his first store, was great. Where the whole space is humidified, it's like walking into like stacks of a library. From one angle, another angle, you could be at a bar, and having a cocktail with a cigar. I think I've seen a lot of that where if you can sit and relax and enjoy a cigar, and have good conversations with people, because it's almost like you're walking into a club, but the entry fee is a cigar, and you can also have like a bourbon or a rum or a beer or whatever. Then that's nice. But every city has
Yeah.
now places that you can go to that provide these kind of environments. I mean, certainly the one in Jorge's place in Houston is a standout too.
There was another place back in the day in Houston. I don't think it's there anymore. I think they went out of business. McGee took me there one time, a couple of times actually, and it was amazing. Back then I was still drinking,
Yeah.
so I would get like these amazing bourbons and sit there. The only problem I had is I went in there and it was like a dress code,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
I was
yeah.
literally like this,
Yeah.
and so they made me put on a polo shirt. I remember that. It was just embarrassing. It was like this polo shirt that was like 2 sizes too big, and I looked like I was wearing my dad's shirt or something. It was like, whatever.
But I
did
think
what I
like
did.
for the next one, I'll bring a list of places that I went to. I'll think about that more, and I'll bring a list, and I'll like give shout outs to some lounges that I've been to that I thought were really kind of cool for different reasons. That's a good question.
I can say on the Crown Head side, we still have we have another LE that we're going to drop in November. I will say that. That's all.
But for us, we're just going to offer the first. I mean, I think it's like the first 1,000 people that come. Is it 1,000 people or is it 800 people? I think maybe 800 people
In Las Vegas.
in Las Vegas that come to our booth will get a free cigar if they smoke. If they let us cut and light an OFC there at the booth, then we'll give them one free. So that's what we're gonna do. So they'll smoke one Bosphorus and they'll get one Aramas to go.
Are you gonna make a regular Pies in the stage release? Like,
Oh, we haven't really discussed that. I mean, I guess that's sort of like predicated on, just part of it is like go with the flow. You know what I mean? I mean, if people ask for it, and we get it over and over and over, then that merits kind of more attention. You know.
But the 23 is just now shipping.
Yeah.
That's a good point. We just started shipping the 23.
Yeah, we just got it in, and we're going to be shipping finally.
Yeah.
But I mean, the whole idea is to go down the kind of color palette of how my father painted it, and try to pair that with a flavor that complements that color and number. But it's
So-
good to get like questions and stuff like that. A lot of people ask me questions about how they should cut a cigar, which like you used for that these scissors, which I'm not accustomed to. That.
I'm not either. Shout out Fox Cutters. A gentleman contacted me on Instagram and said, I want to send you a cutter and I want you to try it out. So I've been using it. It's great. I'm not a accessory guy. So I've been using Lafine Lam cutters. I've been using the Fox cutters and just whatever's at my disposal. But I mean, prior to that, it was Zycar or just pinching it off.
Yeah, and people ask like, is it best to punch cut or guillotine cut or V cut or what? And I mean, I find it to be personal preference. However, like, I'm smoking a torpedo now. So with a torpedo, it's like a little bit of a choose your own adventure. So if you have a guillotine cut, I mean, you could start with a smaller ring and then you can develop down to a larger ring.
Yeah, I always
know what I
cut
mean?
those at an angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just do whatever.
I
But
got a
mean,
punch cut there on my desk too, but I never use it.
Yeah. And then also, like, Adam has one of those circular, is it a Zycar? One that's a circular sphere. It's a circle cutter. That's a guillotine. I cut it with this. It was very good. But then Adam's saying, well, I like that on my desk because to travel with it is just, it's a big,
Yeah,
it's
I
too
hate to-
bulky to have in your pocket.
And then when you go to the factories and you see like the old heads, kind of, they're just always like either they bite it or pinch it,
Pinch and twist, yeah.
pinch and twist it. It doesn't matter. I mean,
Well, then there was a buddy of mine, shout out to Brad Lampley, who played at Tennessee. His son's on the Tennessee Vols football team now. But he said, I'll never forget what you told me. I'm like, what did I tell you? That you use a golf tee to drill. And he goes, and it works like crazy. I do it all the time. And it's like, I never forget what you told me. I'm like, I don't remember telling you.
oh my god,
Maybe I did tell him. I said, what did I have to drink before I told you that?
that'll actually push the tobacco down though. I mean, you want to like cut the cap.
I guess
off,
you're like,
but
he must be
whatever.
drilling in
If
it.
it works, it works.
Whatever. Whatever works for you.
Yeah,
But but people are curious about that. They ask questions about
accessories are a
how to
thing,
cut-
man.
How to cut a
And lighters, that's a whole nother topic of conversation. Like,
yeah.
people use all these like jet things and, I'm a big guy. I honestly, I was like, just give me a Bic and I'm good.
Well, actually, I will say that the Zippo things that's distracting. when you have the smell.
Well, yeah, but like
that,
a
right?
Bic
I mean,
doesn't
that's
have the butane
the
in
Bic
it.
doesn't have that
No,
smell.
but if you have a Zippo lighter that people like light cigarettes, you put that. It's like what is that stuff? Is it butane? I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's like a fluid. It's just nasty.
Well, also the ones that we were using with the butane.
Yeah.
Those are great.
Yeah, the little
But the
disposable
problem
lighters.
is that
Okay.
sometimes.
There's the Oz ones just came in. The sample. It's on my desk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Did they come in?
The sample, because the guy here, you can just toss it. The guy
okay,
was having
cool.
problems with the logo, so he's like, "I want to make sure you approve it." And I'm like, I saw it. I'm like, "Yeah, it's good."
That's good.
So we're good to go. So those.
Yeah. See, the thing with these though is that sometimes they snag them when you're going through the
Yeah,
airport,
just get another one.
and sometimes they don't.
They're disposable. I mean,
I know, but they're like so nice. I feel like
they are.
a waste of like. Do not waste money.
I never got into the whole like DuPont thing with the ping, ping. You know what I mean?
Those are
Like
good,
you'd
too.
always, that was like a big thing back in the day. If you had one of those lighters that made that sound, I was like, too expensive for me, man. I'm gonna lose it. So
Yeah, that was good.
Never-
But the questions are good. I mean, if people like still send us questions, then we like to answer them. So no
Yep.
question is a bad question.
Is that a wrap? We good? Yeah, that's perfect.
That's good.
Everybody else stopped watching 15 minutes ago, so it's all
It's good. It's okay.
It's good. It's good. All right. So I guess until the next one, we'll see
Yeah.
probably, which would be 2024. I'm guessing at this rate.
We're lining up another one.
And we're lining one up for the first quarter of next year. No, we'll hopefully get back on track. We're going to do another one in a couple weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get back on the road, back on track. So until the next one, keep smoking Crown Heads and keep smoking OFC, and we'll see you on episode 10. Big 10-year anniversary party next year. Or next episode. Later. Bye.
See you guys.